You can go.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the Public Works and Safety Committee meeting for November 3rd at 5 p.m. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call.
Alderman Madden,
Here.
Alderman Dilge,
Here.
Alderman Decker,
Here.
Director Kreger.
Here.
Meeting was noticed in accordance with open meeting laws on October 31st.
Beautiful. Approval of minutes. Look for approval on minutes of the October 28th, 2024. Can I do them all together? Okay. Also, January 20th, 2025, April 14th, 2025, July 21st, 2025, and October 20th, 2025.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Status of projects. No, we don't have any tonight, right? Yeah, we're good to go. Okay. New business. Discussion, update, and possible action may be taken on any and all of the following. Possible reconsideration of the Gulfview Estates development request for ditches versus curb and gutter.
All right, so I'll give a brief, talked about this once, but we'll go through the whole history again. I know the developer is here, is ready to talk about it.
Okay, we have to make a request for
Request for reconsideration.
I second.
Yeah. All in favor? Yes.
Aye.
Okay. Now you can go.
Now I can talk. Thank you. So we talked about this before. I think the best thing to do is, it comes down to this. Gulfview Estates, it allows the developer, based on the size of their lots that they're proposing, to ask from the Public Works and Safety Committee whether or not they want to have a urban cross-section or a rural cross-section. Urban, curb and gutter, storm sewer, okay? You can kind of see it in a lot of places. If you look rural, that's the ditches. There's no storm sewer. It's just a rural road with the shoulder, and then you have the ditches, okay? The thing, what we wanted to bring about is, if you look, and for this planning and engineering, if you get back to the map, yep, of all the pink and what's in that area. So the point why planning and engineering said this is not a good case is, if you look at all the subdivisions in that area, everything is that's pink is curb and gutter. This is what we have. I hope you guys have been out there and you looked at it. This is what is typically that we're seeing, and this would be a good case for it. The two other places that may be of recent of where you would see just ditches is Madison Court, which is off of Parker, and Baszler. Both of them are four or five lots of Baszler and 7 lots of Madison Court. Both those sizes are 2.5 acres or more for a minimum lot size, okay? So, and that's kind of rural. However, even some other rural ones, for example, Apple Hills, which is off of Hillendale, even with 8 lots, that developer has chosen to go with curb and gutter. They also chose at Dunoon Country North Estates. That's only 10 lots gone with curb and gutter, and with Waters of Dunoon, and that one has curb and gutter as well. Again, this is what engineering and planning, it looks cleaner. Again, some of the other things that we brought up from our things, it's the lot sizes are not much bigger than what the requirement is. Aesthetically, they look better. Also, too, curb and gutter has a cleaner look with less required maintenance due to not needing to maintain the ditches that would otherwise be present, and ensure the vehicles are not parked on the edge of lawn areas, which can often upset residents or lead to erosion and rutting issues. So that is what we are bringing up as planning and engineering. What you guys need to decide is whether or not you want to see this rural cross-section, or if you want to see the urban cross-section. All right? Any questions based off of that and what we're looking for?
One question, it's, I guess, a little off topic of that, and the memo that you guys provided also touches on it. I just got to get back to it. There we go.
His memo?
Yeah,
Okay, hang on.
all right. All right, on that memo, there's a highlighted section.
Correct.
That talks about the curb and gutter.
Yep.
And then it also talks about, at the end of the development project, turning that over to, I assume property owners, but in this case, it says over to the homeowners association.
Yeah, it would be the property owner would be like, for ditches, in this case, particular case, they would be the ones that would have to maintain those ditches, okay? So that means when you maintain it, would be everything from making sure the grass is cut to a certain size, making sure that drainage is proper, you know what I mean? We don't want sediment to build up, we don't want like a tree would fall down and it has to be maintained. Anything that has related to maintaining that ditches would fall on them.
Okay, now, I did have a conversation, because this was brought up last time too, so I did have a conversation with the city attorney. He seemed to make it, or he seemed to imply that us doing so wasn't either legal or enforceable. So that's kind of what led me to reconsider this. So
Again, I'm not
because that
aware-
does change things too. I mean, if we're assuming the property owner is going to take responsibility for this and not just cutting the grass, but I feel like the drainage, the way water flows throughout the city and back to the lake and all that. But that's not the case, and the city's going to be responsible for it. Well, that's extra burden, that's extra cost that we weren't aware of when we voted last time. So that's, I guess, where I'm at with that.
You know, I'm not a lawyer because I'm not, so I can't give you, but I can tell you what, if people don't do their job, you guys know what our complaints process is. It takes a while. We have to send letters out. We have to go through this whole entire process of doing it. It becomes more of a pain. I mean, you guys can see it firsthand. And as you go through this whole process, when you do curb and gutter, it's gone. We just go fix it. As DPW, as the city, you say, guess what? There's a broken storm sewer pipe. There's something that's bad in the right of way. We can get out there in 24 hours and we fix it and we just get it done. So if you do go this process, you guys understand if someone does not follow this, we would have to get involved, and you know how long that takes. And in the end, I do not know a court of law, but someone could possibly challenge it, you know, and that's between lawyers when it gets there. All I know is if we own it as a city and it's in our right of way and we're required to fix it, we fix it ASAP. Because once we know that there is a problem, it is our job to fix it right away so that there's no burden and the fact that we don't want any damage or to cause to anyone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, another question. So, I mean, we have ditches all over this city. I mean, any new development has generally been curb and gutter, but
Yep.
how do we maintain the ditches we have right now?
The ones that we own, we maintain. Okay, the ones that are right away. The only two that I know of in this particular case from my time is Baszler Court and Madison Court. Those are the two developments there that I know of that for this rule that kicks in place. I do not know of another one. Anyone else? So if there's any other ditches that are out there, we go out there and maintain it, just to let you know.
And do we know when this changed?
I do not know. It was before my time. Maybe the mayor might know, being past alderman.
I don't know. And I don't know, after speaking with Jeff, we can put this in our developers agreement that they're responsible for maintaining the ditches. put anything you want in a developer's agreement. Now, is that if 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, the HOA that's there decides we don't want to do it and they don't, and we try going in there and fixing it and sending them a bill or issuing a citation and they fight it. I'm not an attorney, so I can't give legal advice. I'll tell you, I offhand, I can't think of a case where you can force a private owner to maintain public property, with the exception of shoveling a sidewalk, which is a whole separate statute that falls under safety. And our city attorney has the same kind of view on it. So you can put what you want in a developer's agreement, and it's only good until someone goes to court on it. I'm uncomfortable with it, let's just say that. I know it's in a couple of them right now, but and hopefully they maintain it and we go with that, but it's a concern of mine. And it was one that I brought up immediately after the meeting last time, of having government force private individuals to maintain government property, at least from my conservative side, doesn't even smell right. I'm not sure if it's legal.
Another point that the mayor brought up, we have a couple HOAs that are defunct right now, and this land that they own is kind of just floating out there, and no one knows who to take care of. And these complaints just keep coming, and we can't do anything because we don't own it. We can't go to the HOA because they don't own it. So it puts us in a position where it kind of falls back to either the HOA guys get started or on these private individuals. So it has led to a long time periods of trying to figure out what it is. So just, that's another point just to bring up. So.
Could you please give us a history of this development? Particularly, I understand there was a rezoning done in 2022. And can you tell me why that was done?
Again, we're kind of focusing on just the curb and gutter. When they came, the developer can come and do any type of rezoning. They made a request back in 2022 to say, we would like to do a rezoning and make it for a conservation subdivision. Again, that is their request. They did it at the time. When they were able to do it, they brought into the fact that through Plan Commission, they are allowed to get additional lots based off of the fact that they proposed a trail. Okay, it's one of our methods of way to do conservation subdivisions. Okay, it doesn't matter whether or not they went there or not. They can always come back and request a different rezoning. They again are showing in this yield plan that they only want to do 15 lots. When they only do 15 lots, they hit a certain size in lots. They're here because according to our code, they are given this opportunity to ask whether or not would you guys consider them having a rural cross section instead of an urban cross section. Okay, and I'm trying to focus on just what they're here to do. You know, I don't want to get back into any history, but they can request a different zoning. They can, again, if you really look at the history of this, I believe this project was one version or another almost 15, 17 years ago when it started, just to let you know. So, but.
So by implication, would there need to be a rezoning to reconsider this?
No. No.
Okay, yeah, and I'm just standing by my original vote. I think the area, it needs curb and gutter. It's very wet out there, and I don't want to have to worry about somebody else maintaining it if something goes awry. I got several comments with concern when they thought it was not going to be curb and gutter. I did get one concern about some people that thought that it should have gone the other way, but it was far exceeded by those that said, why aren't we getting curb and gutter?
Can I? The other concern I have on this is, for one, we have standards of curb and gutter is kind of our normal standard for the city. They have the option of asking for an exception, which they've done, and you know I have no problem with that. However, if you grant the exception, I can almost guarantee that if you look, there's developable land in that area. As they come forward, people are going to be asking for the same waiver. And aesthetically, curb and gutter looks nicer. It's easier to maintain. It controls stormwater. Well, there's an argument if it controls stormwater better. I believe the city engineer can weigh in on that. But you're breaking a precedence that we have on this. I know it costs more to do that, but we don't typically weigh costs when it comes to changing our standards. So.
Anything, anybody else? No? Yep.
Can I, as an owner, as a developer, can I say anything?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, and,
Can you just say your name and
oh,
address?
Brian Shane Liebert.
Yep.
2216 Wilmers Grove Road, East
Yep.
Row, Wisconsin. So, you know, these lots are gonna be obviously very attractive, expensive, attractive homes. Do you think somebody's gonna spend that kind of money, but yet not keep up their ditches and keep up, you know, keep everything manicured? I find that very hard to believe when you're laying out the kind of money that they're gonna be paying for a lot, for the house, and all of a sudden they're gonna leave their ditches go and be unattractive. And I mean, I find that hard to believe. Plus, these are 44,000 square foot lots, so these are low density, meets the zoning, what you have there. You have it low density, and that's what we're meeting. And part of your code says if you're over 40,000 square feet, you can eliminate curb, gutter, and storm sewer. So we're just following your code in the section that, you know, that I've been reading. And, but I mean, to say that the city would have to come in and take care of these ditches when people are laying out, by the time they get done with the sale of the lot and their house, they're in their $750,000, and they're gonna let the ditches get like where they're unsightly. I find that very hard to believe. That's my opinion. So, and the other ones you're comparing us to, those are Champion Village, 30-acre lots. Burbox across the street, half-acre lots. I mean, we're twice the size of these lots, so we're low density, just has, like you wanted it low density, we want to be kind of a rural look. So that's our philosophy.
Anybody else? Alrighty. Then I will be looking for a motion.
You already have that.
Oh, we do.
I do have one more
We do,
question.
That's right.
There was also some confusion as to whether this matter goes to the full council or to another committee before.
So per our ordinance, this is a waiver essentially from our standards, and it just goes to this committee. So
Okay.
you guys have the final say on this. I do want to touch, I would agree with the gentleman that people that typically spend, you know, I think on the low end, these are going to be $750,000 houses in today's market. I could see some of them hitting seven figures. I'm not concerned about the aesthetic part of it. I'm concerned about the actual functionality of the ditch line itself, which we do spend a fair amount of time in public works going through and, you know, carving out the, you know, because the line of the ditch does shift over time. And that's the maintenance I'm concerned about, because if that's not kept up, that could cause flooding and problems upstream from there. So that's some of my concern on it. Right now, almost everywhere maintains their ditch when they're able to. If the ditch is too steep, you know, that's a whole different story of how they cut it. But I'm more concerned about the physical upkeep of the ditch and making sure that it's functional long term. And especially in the short term, I don't have any concerns with people maintaining it from an aesthetic reason. But I'm guessing at some point in time, you know, there's different parts of our community that are now 50 years old that aren't probably the most desirable housing stock in our community. That someone said at that time, well, somebody's spending $50,000 on this house, they're going to maintain it, because back then $50,000 was probably more money than what we're talking about today. So time is context, and I'm not looking at we don't make these rules and thoughts based on the near. We try to look years down the line and what's best for the community in the long term.
So at the bottom of this memo, it says if Public Works and Safety do allow ditch section for this development, this will go to Common Council for full recommendation. That's not.
That's,
case.
that, for this part, no, that's not true. There are other parts of this, I believe, would still have to go back to plan and common council, but the ditch line is, the carbon gutter and the ditch is not at this, that is the purview of this committee.
Okay.
For example, if they only have 15 lots, they have to go back to Plan Commission, they have to do engineering again. We have to see all that again. Does that make sense? Because they're gonna do a smaller yield. That I have to look at both from Plan Commission and from engineering to make sure the engineering works.
So, in a revote, how many lots are we specifying?
This is nothing about lots. This is just about urban cross-section and rural cross-section, okay? Nothing about lots.
And I do have, I think, 4 beautiful homes in my district that are rural that have called me and said, why isn't the city maintaining my ditch? It happens. All right, we ready to vote? All in favor?
Can we make clear what the motion is?
Well, it was your motion.
Okay,
to-
so,
His motion was to reconsider.
Right.
You're reconsidering the voting yes, so they
Right.
would go back to the original motion, which was to approve the waiver at the time. So it'd be a no vote would not allow the ditches.
So we need a yes vote now. I would say, yes, we're going to reconsider, and then a no vote.
Reconsider, you just need a motion and a second. So it's back on the floor.
which we already did.
We already
Right.
did that. So it goes back to the original motion, which you're reconsidering, which was to allow it. So if
Okay.
you don't want to allow it, you go no. If you want to allow it, you vote yes.
Okay. So that's a motion we haven't made yet.
You don't need to make it, it's already.
Oh, it's
you
a-
made
the
that
ori-
last
okay.
meeting, you're reconsidering it.
Okay. Okay, then I'm looking for a motion whether we will be reconsidering.
No, we already got that. It's just a vote.
You're just taking a vote.
Okay,
No to not allowing, yes to.
okay. Let's vote.
All right, we doing roll call vote?
Yes.
Okay. Alderperson Madden,
No.
Alderperson Dilge,
No.
Alderperson Decker,
No.
And it fails.
I
Okay,
got one more question. So Basler Court, now those are like 2.5
can you just come
acres,
back up to the mic?
2.5 acre lots. And you allowed culverts and ditches there at 44,000 versus what's the difference? They still got to be maintained. You allowed that that developer to put in ditches. What's the difference between his development and our development? His lots are just a little bigger. He's at 5 or 7 lots, we're at 15 lots, but what's the difference?
When planning and engineering looked at that development back and where it is set off and the fact that there's no other real developments around there, it's a very rural area. You can go drive past it and that the lots were 2.5 acres or more over there. That's when that decision, 5 lots, we made that decision to allow the ditches in that area. So if you go around there, there's not another subdivision that is curb or gutter anywhere near that development. So that was kind of made the decision of it, similar to when Madison Court was done back in the day. Now, again, there's others who chose right away when we went down and looked at the New Country Estates off of Kelsey, and that was already chosen, said curb and gutter, and it was not a problem at all, and we went with that right away. Even Apple Hills, which is kind of off of Hillendale Road, it went with curb and gutter. But if you look at where those two are located, there's not a subdivision within anywhere there with curb and gutter, and they're very rural. I mean, you're gonna see, like I said, minimum of 2.5 acre lots in that area. So That was where the decision came through planning and engineering when we looked at that. I'm just trying to give you a different point of view.
Well, I
You know.
agree with that, right?
Yeah, yep. So, and I feel, like I said, when I brought up the last time too, when you look north and you have Astor Hills and you have Boxhorn Reserve, as this land gets developed, I can see everything come down, and between Ryan Drive and Boxhorn, it's all going to be curb and gutter. It is going to have that kind of feeling in that setting. There's not another area in that area I can think of that has any type of ditch sections. Now I get it. You go down Ryan Drive a little bit further west and you go over, Groveway Lane there. That stuff was all original homes. It's not a subdivision. It was just the road back in the day. But as you start looking at your properties and as the farmland starts developing around you, it's all going to be curb and gutter without a doubt from that feeling. So
why did the city of Muskego go to low density inside that portion?
Probably best after the meeting.
yeah, we can talk about it after the meeting, and I can get Aaron to talk, or Adam to talk with you too. So, but I just want to give you a quick answer of why. So,
Got it, thank you.
All right, communications and miscellaneous businesses authorized by law. We have none, so I'm looking for an adjournment.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 5:22, no, 7.
6.
Oh,